Hi, I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and welcome to Effortless Intonation 2.0, where you're going to learn how to take your inconsistent intonation and laser focus it so you can play your bass in tune every time using some not-so-secret weapons. Then you're going to make the whole process automatic so you don't even have to think about it, and you can focus your mind on the things that really matter, like making great music. Now this is just the first of a 12-part series, so if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description underneath this video, put your name and address in the box on that page, and I'll send you the rest of the series, all 12 parts, plus about 6 hours of audio practice tracks, drones and play-alongs, things like that, as well as PDF exercises and a whole bunch of other goodies. Now in this lesson you'll learn about the not-so-secret weapon that can laser focus your intonation, as well as 3 ways of fixing bad intonation. Now we all know intonation's super important. I mean, as bass players, we are the foundation of pretty much every group we play in. If our intonation's good and we sound good, then it's going to make everyone else sound better. But if we sound bad, if our intonation's bad, it's going to make everyone else sound bad as well. Now good intonation will do a ton of things for you. It's going to help you get better gigs, get better paying gigs, play with better musicians, nail auditions even. But even if you don't want to play professionally, everyone loves playing with a good, solid bass player with good intonation, right? And of course, good intonation is the best form of amplification. I mean, we all know why it's so important, so let's get down to it. Now, I mentioned that there's a not-so-secret weapon in the kind of war against bad intonation. Now, I didn't know about it for years, so as a result, my intonation was wildly inconsistent. The problem was I didn't really know how to fix it, so all I could do was pray that I had more good days than bad days. Luckily though, I studied with a great teacher and a great person named Chris Fitzgerald, and he kind of revolutionized the way that I practice my intonation by giving me a set of drones to play along with. Now in case you don't know, a drone is just a really long sustained note that doesn't change. Now how does this help? Well, it kind of anchors us to a tonality, so we don't drift in and out of tune nearly as much, because we have that drone as a reference point for how in tune we are. Now when you do this, you develop 2 things. First of all, you develop a great ear because you're always referencing and always checking yourself against the drone to see whether you're in tune or not. And the second thing you develop is muscular memory, and this is super important. When you do this, you're learning millimeter by millimeter where all the notes are on your bass. There's very little guesswork with the drone. It kind of keeps you honest, and that's exactly what you need when you're trying to improve your intonation. So let's get down to using some drones. Now we're going to start off very, very simply, nothing complicated at all. We're just going to put on a drone and try and match the pitch exactly. So in the description underneath this video, there's a download you can go get for a C drone, a low C drone, and it's going to sound like this. Not super interesting to listen to, but very, very useful for practicing with. Now this drone is the exact same note as the C on your A string right here. So all you have to do is put on the drone and try and find that C on your A string. Now how are you going to know if it's in tune or not? Well, if you're perfectly in tune, everything's going to feel nice and solid and your bass will feel nice and relaxed. Now that begs the question, how can your bass not be relaxed? Well, I want you to try something with me right now. I want you to pick up your bass, play your open G, or if you've got a bow, even better, play your open G, and now find the G on your D string. It's about there. Now play them together. Now if they're in tune, it's going to sound fine, it's going to be nice and relaxed, and your bass is really going to sing. But watch what happens if I change the note on the D string even just a little bit. I'll make it a little bit sharp. Do you hear that? Do you hear that wavering, those notes kind of rubbing against each other? That's exactly the thing you're trying to avoid. The same thing happens when you go flat. Oh, bit far. See how those notes kind of rub against each other? You get this kind of wavering motion. This means it's not in tune. And that kind of wavering, they're called beats. You have to try and eliminate them as much as possible. That's how you know it's going to be perfectly in tune. Now let's get back to our C drone. So I'll put this on. Now I'm going to play the C with my first finger right here. But you feel free to use your second finger there or your third and fourth finger. But I'm going to use my first. You You want to try and get the note exactly the same. You don't want any of that wavering. You want to eliminate that as much as possible. If you're a little bit sharp, hear that? So that's when you bring it down just a tiny little bit. If you think you're flat, you get that kind of uncomfortable wavery feeling, you bring it up. Just like that. Now really spend some time with these single note drones and try and match pitch exactly. All the material and effortless intonation builds on each other, so you need to have a strong foundation in this before you move on to the other lessons. Now what do you do when you miss? When you go for a note and you miss? You might be in the kind of the right ballpark area, but you just are off by a tiny little bit and need to make a micro adjustment. Well, there are 3 ways of correcting bad intonation. 2 of them are actually kind of harmful, and there's one way that's really ideal. Now the first way of correcting bad intonation is one that you should probably avoid. It's where you play a note, realize it's a little bit out of tune, then release pressure, move this whole mechanism up or down, press down again, and then play your note again. Now this creates a lot of movement, it's not very efficient, and it interrupts the flow of whatever you're doing, and it can really hurt the music sometimes. Now the second way, which is probably more damaging to your hand, is using this kind of expansion and contraction of your hand right here. So for example, if you're playing a C up here and realize that you're a bit sharp and you need to move this down, you kind of contract your hand in like this. Now, because you're squeezing so hard there to maintain pressure, you're putting an incredible amount of tension in the muscles of the hand, which are very small. And this is the kind of thing that can really lead to pain and tension in the hand and can potentially even stop you from playing. So this is definitely one to be avoided, this expansion and contraction. Now instead, it's much better to use the bigger muscles in your forearm, your tricep and your bicep, your shoulder, the pectoral muscles, and muscles in your back and your side. Those are the muscles that need to be doing the work to correct intonation. And so how do we do that? Well, let's put our drone back on. Our C drone, and let's imagine you play a C. Oh, get our bow back. Let's imagine you play a C, but you're a little bit flat. What can you do? Well, the solution is it's all in the elbow. So if you actually raise your elbow up, you can pivot on your finger right here, and your finger will actually go a little bit flat. Correct that intonation there. Go back down. You're actually almost rocking on your finger right here. So, if your elbow goes down, note goes flat, elbow goes up, note sharpens up a little bit. You've actually got a fair range of motion in there. It's all in the elbow, all in the big muscles of the arm. Now, if you accidentally play the wrong note, a wrong note, this isn't going to help you a whole bunch, especially if you're in the lower register, because the notes are fairly far apart. But if you're only just a little bit out and need to make a micro adjustment, always be thinking of how you can adjust with the elbow. If you're a little bit flat, raise the elbow up. If you're a little bit sharp, try and pull the elbow down just a little bit. Now this is a much safer and much more efficient way of correcting intonation like we were talking about. It uses all the big muscles to do the work and none of the little muscles. Surely you are using these muscles a little bit, but not nearly as much as the big ones. And they're the ones that are going to be doing all the work in correcting your intonation. So to review really quickly, we talked about drones and how they were the not-so-secret weapon in the war against bad intonation. We talked about how to use drones and how to match frequency with them to get rid of the wavering and to play perfectly in tune. We also discussed 3 ways of correcting bad intonation, 2 of them not so good, 1 of them much better. If you haven't already done it, make sure and click the link underneath this video and follow it to get the rest of the Effortless Intonation series, as well as all the drones and the practice tracks and all the PDF files as well. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. In the next lesson of Effortless Intonation, we'll be adding more things to play against this single note drone, so stay watching. I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and I'll see you in the very next lesson.